to just follow up
Yes, ma'am.
on the children and the broader question about war crimes and investigations, which had been undertaken with coordination with the State Department. Understanding that the data have been preserved.
Correct.
But does that mean, can we infer from that investigations will not be conducted by this government of war crimes going forward, in either the crime of kidnapping or the war crimes that were undertaken, Bucha, Mariupol, all these other places?
I've cautioned always for us to not place a whole host of issues attached to something starting or stopping. And that, our work and our commitment to the world is on display every day through certainly Secretary Rubio's commitment, the nature of who he meets with, what he's done when it comes to summits, negotiations, bargaining, the issue of working for ceasefires. It has been a hallmark and remains a hallmark and will be, I have to say, a hallmark of this administration and of Secretary Rubio's tenure here. So it would be wrong to say that, in fact, that signals some kind of end to our work on these issues. In fact, manifesting through the conversation with President Trump and President Putin, it was a central part of that conversation that was discussed between those two men. And I think that shows you where it's placed now and where it will continue to be placed. Well, here's what I do know, which may speak to that a bit, is that the data is not being transferred to a storage facility. It's being transferred to the appropriate authorities. And I think that can tell us that the nature of the trajectory of this data, but also I can't speak to what then moves at that point once it's been transferred. I have a tiny feeling that with all of your investigations and questions, that we will continue to get the details of what happens next.
I'm talking about the crimes that are now underway today, tomorrow, next month. Is it anyone in this government investigating, anyone that, to your knowledge, at the State Department or connected to it, investigating crimes current and future since the data that has been collected?
Well, first, I'm not going to discuss the details of what the State Department is doing when it comes to its investigations, when it comes to contemplations or negotiations or diplomatic decision-making, whether on any level with any situation, any case that's involved. But what I can point to, I think it's safe to point to, is this nation's history of being involved in making sure that the right thing gets done. There are a number of other entities of which, of course, we are involved, including the United Nations, and, of course, other Europe, or the nations of the civilized world. So I would, same with whether it's aid, this argument that we are stopping our aid and we're out of of caring about providing foreign aid. Of course, that's not true. And because one grant dynamic has stopped in this country at one university, that is not the determiner of the nature of the work of the State Department of the United States. That's unfair, frankly, and moves people into this idea that everything is contained in one moment, when there are thousands of moments and work going on around the world, but certainly including the nature of what the State Department's doing under the direction of Marco Rubio, when a commitment of the State Department to solve these problems, to stop carnage, to find justice. We want to be safe, secure, and prosperous for ourselves and for our neighbors. So that would not be an accurate conclusion based on this one particular grant. Yes, ma'am.